My boyfriend hooked up with the investor's daughter. Get lost. You are worthless. I turned around and called, Dad, withdraw your investment. We were in love for 4 years, and I worked as Fu Hanqing's assistant for 4 years, worked diligently to make the company bigger and stronger. When I was about to be promoted to general manager, he suddenly came in and took my place. He smiled calmly and said as a matter of course, Xiao Xiao is the daughter of the big boss. She studied abroad and returned. You are not as good as her in terms of education or family background. I questioned him angrily. He said sarcastically, the company is mine. You are just a secretary. You have no right to comment on my decisions. Bai Wei, if you don't know what's good for you, get out. I laughed. You want me to get out? Then don't blame me for withdrawing my investment and changing the company's ownership. I am still the first one to arrive at the company in the morning. Only after preparing the materials to be launched and the contracts to be signed did the colleagues go to work one after another. Seeing me working diligently, my colleague joked, you are the general manager now, so you can let us, the little guys, do this kind of work. Fu Hanqing is really something. It's so cold in the morning in winter, but he didn't even bother to let you come back later. I smiled and said modestly, the promotion notice has not been sent out yet. We are all comrades in arms, and there is no distinction between superiors and subordinates. My colleague waved his hand and said, it has not been decided yet. You are the only candidate. Your contribution to the company over the years is obvious to all. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have agreed to the position of general manager. This is not an exaggeration. The beginning of the company was extremely difficult. It was my hard work in attracting investments, signing contracts, and helping Fu Hanqing deal with partners that led us to the current successful company that is about to go public. Although I appear modest on the surface, I know exactly what I am doing. This position belongs to me. My colleague took a look at me from the door and shouted to me, Bai Wei, Mr. Fu asked you to go to the meeting room. I nodded with a smile and walked over quickly. The door of the conference room opened and Fu Hanqing sat in the main seat. He was wearing a dark grey suit. With one of his shirt buttons missing, he folded his hands and looked at me with sharp eyes behind his glasses. My steps and smile paused, because next to him, there was a pretty little girl sitting. Her hair was messy and her lipstick was smudged. There is also a beautiful kite brooch on her chest. It was a birthday present I gave him when we first started dating in our sophomore year. We have been in love for 6 years, but ironically, this brooch is on someone else. She even greeted me with a smile. Hello, sister. My name is Song Jishu. I know her, the first love who abandoned Fu Hanqing in college. Meeting her provocative gaze and the ambiguous kiss mark deliberately left on Bo's neck, there was nothing unclear. My heart sank, and I forced myself to calm down, asking knowingly, Fu Hanqing, who is this? Fu Hanqing coughed lightly and avoided my gaze guiltily. This is my junior sister, a PhD who studied abroad. She will be the general manager in the future. I froze in place, feeling ridiculous. I have worked diligently for the company for 4 years, and you just parachute someone in to take my place. Everyone in the industry knows that I am not the type of person who will swallow my anger, so I walked slowly to their side and sat down, tapping the table with my fingertips, and asked slowly, study abroad, which country, which university? I said, if I really have the ability, I will accept this job arrangement. Fu Hanqing looked angry, and the woman looked a little panicked. He said coldly, this is confidential. I can't tell you. Bai Wei, I'm the boss and you're my subordinate. You have no right to comment on my decision. That is a fake university that is not worth mentioning. A colleague passed by the door and heard everything clearly. He angrily spoke up for me and said, what do you mean, Professor Fu? Are you going to destroy the bridge after crossing it and then throw it away? Fu Hanqing laughed calmly and said as a matter of course, Xiao Xiao is the daughter of the square president, and she studied abroad. Bai Wei is not as good as her in terms of education or family background. I frowned and was about to say something. The colleague started talking again. How much has Bai Wei contributed to the company? What has she done? Why did she take the position that belonged to Bai Wei? Fu Hanqing's expression darkened, and he looked at me with obvious fear. I'm the president. I make the decision on this matter. Do you guys not recognize my position? I looked at him coldly and felt that he was really powerful. He completely forgot about the time when he just graduated and cried and begged me, a top student, to support his career. I suffered double betrayal in my career and relationship at the same time. But I held back because I didn't want to make it too embarrassing in front of others. But now he has trampled on my face and made it clear that he is determined to protect the mistress to the end. I was so disgusted that I raised my hand and slapped him. Fu Hansheng, you cheated on your wife and brought your mistress with you right after. Isn't that disgusting? Before he could react, I slapped Song Jishu in the face again. You too, you are quite proud of being a mistress, aren't you? Song Jishu was stunned and screamed while covering his face. By the time Fu Hansheng came to his senses, I had already hidden behind my colleague. Fu Hansheng is a hypocritical, selfish and face-conscious person. His colleagues looked at him with great contempt. He didn't dare to attack me, so he could only grit his teeth and say, Bai Wei, what are you talking about? Jishu and I are innocent. I just admire her talent. I sneered. Are you enjoying it in bed? Don't force me to slap you in the face, he choked. Originally I wasn't sure whether the two people had any actual behavior, but now it seems true. But Fu Hansheng quickly adjusted his state. He leaned back in the leather seat and looked at me with disdain. Bai Wei, everything I do is for the future of the company. Square is the best in the industry and can bring us huge profits. Jishu promised me that she would persuade her father to give this order to the company. Listening to his hypocritical and pale explanation, I lowered my eyes and laughed angrily. Mr. Fu is really great, selling himself for fame. Fu Hansheng likes the sense of accomplishment of being in control of everything, and he was furious when I provoked him like this. He slammed the table and said, Bai Wei, if you don't know what's good for you, get out. I didn't move, but looked at Song Jishu and said leisurely, if I remember correctly, the boss of Square is not named Song. Song Jishu's face flashed with guilt, but he quickly became arrogant again. I take my mother's surname. I nodded thoughtfully. In fact, Fu Hansheng would find the flaw if he thought about it carefully. If Song Jishu was really the daughter of the richest man, why did she abandon him for money? But he was willing to indulge himself, even at the cost of our 6 years of relationship. I don't want this kind of garbage anymore. I stood up and met his angry eyes with a smile in front of all my colleagues. Mr. Fu, I resign. I don't have much stuff, just piled up in a small corner. The company was having a difficult time at the beginning and the space was not big enough, so I had to settle for the next best thing and work in an unventilated corner. The summers were hot and humid, and the winters were cold, but I got through them all by myself, while I was moving out my things. Fu Hansheng was setting up Song Jishu's office. I could see everything clearly through the glass floor-to-ceiling windows, a spacious and bright office with comfortable tables, soft seats and sofas for people to rest. Everything was in stark contrast to my bleak workstation. After 6 years of relationship, it would be a lie to say I'm not sad, but what I feel more is heartbreak. After the company grew bigger, he had enough capital to get me a better job, but he didn't. Occasionally I complained, but he just brushed it off with a nonchalant response. There's nothing to complain about in an office space. The only thing that matters is the ability to create value for the company. I thought he was used to being poor, so I didn't say anything. But now that he has given Song Jishu the best of everything with great fanfare, I realized that he is not stingy. He just doesn't want to spend a penny on me. When I was leaving with the cardboard box, Song Jishu blocked me at the door. Sister, you can't just leave like this. She stared at me warily and said to Fu Hansheng, Hansheng, Bai Wei has many orders in her hands. She can't leave like this. She has to hand them over to the company. Fu Hansheng nodded. Bai Wei, complete the handover with Jishu before leaving. Even though I was disappointed, I still stared at him in disbelief. When the company was first founded, I drank so much that I fainted several times in order to get orders for the company. And I finally managed to sign the contract. These partners are all obtained through my hard work. Others may not know this, but Fu Hansheng, who is always by my side, knows it all. At that time, a wealthy woman was attracted by his appearance and said to him in a cryptic way, Xiao Fu, as long as you have a drink with me, we can cooperate. Fu Hansheng had a proud personality and could not stand such humiliation. He left on the spot with his face turned blue with anger. The rich woman was very unhappy about being humiliated. I smiled and drank the glass of white wine on the table. Don't be angry, Mr. Lee, he has a bad temper. I will drink with you. The rich woman snorted coldly. Okay, then you can drink with me on his behalf, if you can get me drunk. Not only will I forgive you for what happened, I will also inject capital into you. It depends on whether Miss Bai has the ability to do so. I gritted my teeth and, with amazing willpower, drank an incalculable amount of liquor. Before the rich woman drank, she looked at me with praise and sighed. Bai Wei, you have courage and determination. You will have a bright future in my company. Why do you have to stay in a small workshop company? At that time, I was wholeheartedly in love with Fu Hansheng. So I politely declined. That night, I took the contract, went home drunk, and vomited all over the place. Fu Hansheng patted my back with red eyes and whispered, I'm sorry, Wei Wei. I shouldn't be so willful. I promise that I won't let anyone get hurt again. I took out a kite brooch from my pocket, and handed it to him with a pale face and a smile. Fu Hansheng, happy birthday. He hugged me at that time, and his hot tears fell into my collar. At that time, he probably really loved me. But in the end, he was the one who suspected me, despised me, and betrayed me. Looking at Song Jishu's provocative face, I took a deep breath and smiled. Okay. I'll leave both the business and the man to you. I wish you amazing performance, soaring to the sky, and a successful love and career. Fu Hansheng's face darkened, and as if to show off or something, he put his arm around Song Jishu's shoulders. Bai Wei, I hope you won't regret it later. After the cooperation with Square started, even if you begged me with tears, I would not let you come back. I smiled and said, I don't regret it. I don't know whether the cooperation will start. All I know is that Song Jishu's future will not be easy. I negotiated with those partners one by one, and they only recognized me. If I changed someone else, they wouldn't buy it, but I won't remind her. I'm looking forward to seeing the show. I went out to travel for a few months, which was considered a good vacation for myself. During this period, colleagues at the company sent me messages to complain. Sister Wei Wei, Song Jishu seems to be mentally ill. He is always making fun of us. It's not easy in the current environment. If you are not satisfied with the work and get fired, you will have no place to cry. What you said about working hard, actually you just think that everyone misses you and no one is flattering her, so you are trying to intimidate us. Another colleague made a sharp comment. This parachuted young lady has strong limbs but a simple mind. Not only did she not understand our bidding plan, but she also said that what our team produced was not colloquial enough. In just a few days, several of our partners were unhappy. In short, they finally came to only one conclusion. Sister, if you join the new company, we will quit our jobs and work with you. Without them telling me, I could probably guess how serious the situation was. All the partners called me. All of them were confused and helpless. MS. Bai, why did the contact suddenly change? Then he said politely, this person's work efficiency is too low. It would be better for you to contact us in person. I was on the beach, basking in the sun and drinking red wine, and I smiled and said, sorry, I quit my job, resign. As the news spread, I received olive branches one after another. They all have an annual salary of 1 million, which is full of sincerity. In stark contrast to Fu Hansheng's stingy 15,000, I politely declined one by one and just said that I had my own ideas. After playing outside for more than a month, the scenery along the way has healed my emotional sadness and distress. After the plane landed, I called my father and said, Dad, I want to go back and inherit the family business. On the phone, my father's voice was very surprised. Why? Are you finally willing to leave Fu Hansheng? I lowered my eyes and said truthfully, don't laugh at me. He cheated on me and kicked me out of the company. My dad was furious. I saw from the beginning that he was not a good person. If I had known this would happen, I would have broken your legs rather than let you suffer with him. There is no need to be so radical. My father only has me as his only daughter, and he loves me like the apple of his eye. I was stupid back then and was fooled by the sweet words and set my sights on Fu Hansheng. As a result, he hit his head and it was bleeding. Fortunately, I know how to turn back. I called a few colleagues and said, I've found a new job. If any of you want to work with me, you can quit your job, I'll pay the penalty. Colleagues were delighted. Great, Sister Weiwei. Which company are you working for now? I smiled mysteriously. You will know once you come here. When I met with several colleagues under the square building, their expressions were all extremely confused. When they saw me driving over, they came up to me as if awakened from a dream. Sister Weiwei, you joined Square and brought us in. I can't get into a big company like Square even if I try my best. Am I dreaming? I was amused. Let's go and complete the entry procedures. My father was waiting for me in the conference room. When he saw me leading them in, he smiled kindly. Thank you for taking care of my daughter. I'll treat you to a meal when I have time. A colleague blinked and stood there in a daze. Sister Weiwei, is she your daughter? My dad said proudly. Look at how we look. Can we be wrong? Another colleague looked at me and said in a floating tone, Weiwei, you are the daughter of the boss of Square. Then Song Jishu. I smiled. Fake. My dad was puzzled. What fake? Speaking of this, my colleague told my father the whole story indignantly. Without any exaggeration, it was all true. Several other colleagues added other things one after another. Listening to this now, I don't feel any more upset. My father's eyes were red with heartache and he said he would support me. Originally, because of me, my father planned to reach a cooperation with the company and give Fu Hanxing a boost. This is also the reason why Fu Hanxing is so proud. But now, my dad snorted coldly. Spread the news that Square will hold a bidding meeting for this cooperation. Weiwei, you and your people will be in charge of this bidding meeting. When he met Fu Hanxing again at the bidding venue, he looked much more tired. Because there are too many people participating in the bidding, we are too busy to handle it. I simply brought my work badge and went out to receive the guests. Song Jishu took his arm and looked at me sarcastically. Oh my God, sister. You left the company and came here to do odd jobs, or you can beg me in Hansheng, and we can let you go back and be a clerk. I was speechless. I don't care. Fu Hanxing stared at me with his amber pupils, and complicated emotions surged in his eyes. He opened his mouth and said, Weiwei, are you doing well after leaving the company? I no longer have feelings for him. It was my love that gilded him. And I thought his arrogance was aloofness and his resentment was a feeling of being unappreciated. But looking back now, I feel calm. I smiled politely. Mr. Fu, I'm fine. Song Jishu tugged at Fu Hanxing's arm and walked up to me domineeringly. You appear here just to attract Hanxing's attention, right? I'm telling you, Hanxing only loves me, and we're already planning on getting married. After saying this, she shook the diamond ring on her hand. I saw Fu Hanxing frowning. And the impatience in his eyes could not be concealed. I heard that Song Jishu messed up a lot of orders and the company lost a lot of money. If the company cannot revive by relying on SQ's business, the listing will probably fail. Isn't this the white moonlight that he has been thinking about all the time? It won't be long before it turns into mosquito blood. Men's bad nature is really terrible. Perhaps Fu Hanxing could endure until now because of Song Jishu's false identity as the only daughter of the Square boss. I curled my lips. Then congratulations. Fu Hanxing stared at me closely, with a hint of regret in his eyes, but Song Jishu still pulled him to sit down. I only had time to go to the bathroom after I had received the companies participating in the bidding. As luck would have it, I met Fu Hanxing who came out to smoke in the corridor. When he saw me, he was stunned for a moment. Then walked to my side and looked at me lovingly. Weiwei, I know you're not doing well, but it was also because I was too impulsive and said things without thinking. I frowned. What do you want to say? There's still a lot of things to prepare for. He tried to grab my hand, but I quickly dodged it. His fingertips missed and his eyes looked a little hurt. Weiwei, you're still mad at me, right? He said. I still love you, and I can't bear to see you having such a hard time. Just follow me. I'll make sure you have plenty of food and clothing. For a moment, I didn't know where to start scolding him. Which eye of his saw how hard I was going. Aren't you and Song Jishu going to get married? I sneered. Why, are you going to go back to your ex again? He was a little displeased. I give you this opportunity because I pity you. As for Jishu, as long as I am careful, she won't find out. I used to think he was selfish and cold-hearted, only now do I realize how two-faced he is. It's disgusting. I brushed his hand away. slapped him twice, and said, "Are you a slut?" Fu Hansheng was irritated, his face darkened. "If you miss me, you will regret it. After marrying Jishu, I will be the son-in-law of the square boss and will inherit the family business in the future. When her father dies, won't I have the final say on how to deal with her?" he said. "Except for the status, I can give you everything you want." I didn't expect that he had this in mind, originally. I had no intention of taking revenge on him. After all, it was my own choice to suffer with him. No one forced me, so I have to bear the consequences myself. But now, I changed my mind. How can such a rotten person hold such a high position and be supported by my hard work? He doesn't deserve it. At the bidding site, I stayed behind the scenes and watched each company come on stage one by one. Among these people, only Fu Hansheng was confident, as if everything was in his pocket. On the other hand, Song Jishu beside him had a pale face, as if he was extremely scared. The speeches on the stage ended one by one, and it was Fu Hansheng's turn. However, when they opened the PPT, everyone was shocked. Not only is it not beautiful and concise, the content is simple, and the introduction is incoherent. There is no formulaic language, and it all looks like vernacular at first glance. Fu Wensheng looked at the big screen, his face looking as ugly as if he had swallowed a fly. In such an occasion, with many famous company CEOs present, he was truly embarrassed. For such a face-conscious person, this is more painful than killing him. He almost forced himself to finish the whole speech, but his logic was confusing, which made many people present frown and whisper, "The bidding results will be announced in a week." After everyone left, I saw Fu Hansheng and Song Jishu arguing in the corridor. The man's eyes were cold. "Jishu, I gave you full authority over this bidding meeting. How did you check it, when Bai Wei was here? There was never such a mistake. Do you know how embarrassing this is? You've completely disgraced me." Song Jishu cried in grievance. "What do you mean? Are you still obsessed with Bai Wei? Have you forgotten what you told me before? No matter what I did wrong, you would tolerate me unconditionally. Do you dislike me now? It's just a bidding meeting. Do you really need to yell at me?" Fu Hansheng took a deep breath and rubbed his eyebrows, seeming to have a headache. Then he reluctantly softened his voice and said, suppressing his anger, "I'm sorry, Jishu, I was too impulsive. You are the one I love the most. How could I dislike you? This bidding meeting is very important to our company, so I said that in anger." Song Jishu leaned in his arms, wiping her tears. He said aggrievedly, "Don't do this again next time." Fu Hansheng responded in a gentle voice, "After all, he is your father. The mess you made will be cleaned up for you, right?" Song Jishu responded vaguely, saying that he had an appointment and had to go shopping first. After she left, I slowly walked out and made some sarcastic remarks. The bidding meeting has become a joke as it has lost such a big person. Fu Hansheng, I'm afraid the cooperation with Square has fallen through. Fu Hansheng's face was gloomy, but he was still confident. Jishu is the daughter of the Square boss. There won't be any problems. I smiled and said, "No problem. The premise for him to help you clean up the mess is that you are a family." I said, "If I were the boss of Square, I would just ask my daughter to break up with her boyfriend if he made a fool of himself at the bidding meeting." Fu Hansheng's eyes flashed, as if he realized something, and he turned and left. I stared at his back and couldn't help laughing. I hope what I said was not in vain. A few days later, I saw the two of them showing their love on WeChat Moments. After many twists and turns, I have met the right person. Please give me your guidance for the rest of my life. The accompanying picture shows two brightly colored marriage certificates and folded hands. Many of our partners are still unaware of our breakup. Many people left comments below. You and Miss Bai have finally gotten married. Congratulations. When you two get married, you must invite me. Fist bow. I don't know how Fu Hansheng felt when he saw it, but I gave it a thumbs up from the bottom of my heart. I replied one by one, "Mr. Lee has misunderstood. The bride is not me. I'm sorry, Mr. Wang, we're breaking up." After seeing this, my partners withdrew their comments in embarrassment, and some even came to ask about my relationship status. As the news got a lot, I simply posted it on my moments to spread the word. "My dear friends, Fu Hansheng and I have broken up due to emotional reasons. Please don't congratulate me anymore. because he is not going to marry me. Then he went to Fu Wanxing's circle of friends and replied, "Congratulations." The partner responded quickly, within a few minutes. The only comment on his lively circle of friends was my obvious congratulations. After a busy day, when I look at my phone, I realized that Fu Wenxing and Song Jishu took turns sending me many messages. Fu Wenxing: Weiwei, why do you have to be so ugly? What good will it do you to save my face? Just delete your moments, it won't be good for others to see it. You don't want others to talk about our years of relationship, do you? I smiled sarcastically and replied, "It's no good, I'm willing." Then block him. As for Song Jishu, most of the messages he sent were insults that would not pass muster. Interspersed among them were also proofs of her and Fu Hanxing's love. I opened it and found out that Fu Hanxing and she had been hooking up last year. On the day of our love anniversary, he lied that he had a social engagement. But it turned out that he had traveled all the way to the next city to celebrate Song Jishu's birthday and confess his love to him at the same time. She is such a fool, handing such a handle to me. I naturally accepted it with a smile and saved the chat records one by one. Then he replied to her slowly, "You are so happy. Have you ever thought about what will happen when Fu Hanxing knows your true identity?" The other side replied immediately, "How do you know? But it doesn't matter." Han Sheng said, "No matter who I am, he loves me as a person, not my family." She could believe such words. I really didn't know what to say, so I could only kindly remind her, considering that we were both women, Fu Hanxing can abandon the relationship I had for 6 years. So there's no guarantee that you won't become another me. As a result, she broke down. I sent a long paragraph of curse words, implying that I couldn't bear to see her doing well. She also said that they were true love. And that I deserved it because I couldn't hold a man's heart. I am meddling in other people's business. I closed my phone and blacklisted her friends. Be confident in helping others and respect their fate. The day before the bidding results formula, I met Fu Hanxing and Song Jishu in the mall. Song Jishu was holding bags of luxury goods and smiling very sweetly, but Fu Hanxing's expression looked a little forced. I'm not surprised, others may not know how stingy he is, but I, his ex-girlfriend who has been with him for 6 years, know it. By looking at the brands of luxury goods, I can roughly estimate the prices. He really spent a lot of money. Song Jishu saw me from afar, his eyes flashed, and he tried to avoid me, but Fu Hanxing, not just to show off, but also to make me regret, pulled her over. "Weiwei, long time no see, Jishu and I are already married, and she's pregnant. You don't have a chance anymore." Pregnant, in order to make the square boss help him. He really tried his best and even had a child. I raised my eyes and said, "Oh, pregnancy is such a big deal. Why don't you post on your moments to let everyone congratulate you?" Last time, when his partners asked him about the breakup, Song Jishu got really mad. Most of the furnishings in the office were smashed. If my colleague hadn't told me about it out of gossip, I wouldn't have known that this effect could be triggered. Fu Hanxing's expression froze visibly. And then he turned from embarrassed to proud. "Your little tricks can't shake my position. When the bidding results come out tomorrow, it will be useless even if you cry and beg me to come back." I smiled slightly. "Why should I cry? I think you are the one who should cry. It's not decided yet. How can you be so confident that you will win the bid?" He frowned and said, "Don't be so stubborn. With Jishu and the child here, there won't be any problems." He really believed in Song Jishu's fake identity. He didn't even look down at Song Jishu's confused and pale face. During this period, my former colleague gave me a lot of screenshots of their embarrassing moments. There is love and affection between their words. Fu Hanxing was afraid that others didn't know how much he indulged and doted on Song Jishu. The mobile phone sent me the preparations for the announcement of the bidding results tomorrow. The winning bidder came out, and as I expected, it was not Fu Hanxing's. I curled my lips and stopped entangled with them. Then I'll wait and see. The results are published online. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I sent out the edited article and the fair and transparent voting results. At 8:10. My cell phone started to bombard me with calls from my former colleagues who were gloating over my misfortune. They sent me the video. In the video, Fu Hanxing stood in the office he had carefully prepared for Song Jishu, with a visibly gloomy look on his face. "Why didn't your father help me? We are already married. And you are even pregnant. How could he watch our company go wrong? Song Jishu's eyes were tearful and he looked fearful and timid. Fu Hansheng grabbed her wrist and said, "Let's go see your father and ask him to change the result." Song Jishu was timid and didn't dare to speak for a long time. But at this moment, an old man in tattered clothes broke into the company. As soon as he saw Song Jishu, his eyes lit up. "My dear daughter, I have been looking for you so hard. You come here to enjoy the good life alone, leaving your father to suffer alone." Fu Hansheng's expression suddenly changed. He asked sharply, "What do you mean? Are you her father?" The old man curled his lips. "How can it be false? Who are you? Are you the rich husband she found? Give me 100,000 yuan to spend first." The video stops abruptly. A colleague sent a WeChat message. "Boss Fu attacked Song Jishu later. I was busy trying to stop the fight and didn't record it. Anyway, the company is in chaos right now. I just replied a few words quickly and then started to busy myself with other work." It wasn't until I got off work at noon that I was stopped by Fu Hansheng in the coffee shop I often go to. "Wei, you already knew something, right?" I stared at the coffee in front of me and just felt it wasted. "What can I know?" He stared at me. "You already knew that Song Jishu is not the biological daughter of the square boss." I didn't say anything and picked up my bag to leave. He pulled my arm hard. His eyes were gloomy, and he looked like he wanted to eat me. My arm hurt. But he kept blaming me. "If you knew it earlier, why didn't you tell me? Are you here to laugh at me? How could you be so vicious? You were the one who deliberately provoked me to marry her at the bidding meeting, right? I'm telling you, if the company is gone, you won't have an easy life." I met his crazy eyes and didn't even notice the pain in my arm. I just felt a chill. I have no doubt that if the company did go bankrupt, he would kill me. He was still going crazy because I was the one whose dad finally showed up. He angrily asked the bodyguard to pull Fu Hansheng away, and looked at the large red mark on my arm with heartache. Wei, are you okay?" I shook my head. The moment Fu Hansheng saw my dad, he froze in place, was pushed away by the bodyguard, and fell to the ground. Quite embarrassing. He stood up and looked at me with a surprised look in his eyes. "Wei, do you know Mr. Song?" My dad protected me and snorted. "Know her? This is my daughter." He was stunned for a moment, his eyes filled with disbelief, which then turned into ecstasy. He jumped over the bodyguard and rushed towards me, shouting happily, Wei, I know I was wrong. I still love you. I will divorce Song Jishu and marry you. Please forgive me." "How can our 6-year relationship just end like that? This company is also your hard work. You won't just watch it go bankrupt, right? Please beg your father to give me the cooperation. I am speechless." He signaled with his eyes for the bodyguard to pull him away, then he stared down at him and sneered, "You have brought this upon yourself. You can't blame anyone else. Originally, I wanted my dad to give the project to our company and give you a helping hand, even if you kicked me out of the company. I never thought of regretting it." I sighed with regret. "But you insist on disgusting me again and again, and even allow Song Jishu to bully me." His face was pale, mixed with regret and pain. But I felt calm and even a little happy. I took my dad's arm and said with a smile, "Dad, let's go." My father nodded, and before leaving, he disgustedly asked the bodyguard to stop him and not let him approach me again. Let him cry and shout behind me, saying that he was wrong. Unfortunately, it's too late. That night, I had a nightmare. I dreamed that he disguised himself as a taxi driver, a food delivery man, and a courier, chasing me again and again, until I was startled awake from my dream. It is only a matter of time before the company goes bankrupt. When that day comes, I don't know how crazy he will be. Will it really cost me my life? I have to strike first. During this period, I heard my colleagues say again and again that he would take out his anger on Song Jishu whenever he was not satisfied. Not only verbal abuse, but also domestic violence. When Song Jishu was at work, the bruises on his body could not be covered at all. I guess his life was not easy, touching my sweaty palms. I picked up my phone and removed Song Jishu's WeChat from the blacklist. "Are you interested in cooperating? I will help you get a divorce and send you abroad." In a moment, the other side replied, "Okay." The next morning, I pushed a business card to Song Jishu. In the evening, the company, which had been cut off from funds, suddenly resumed normal operations and received several expensive orders. Thanks to this timely help, the company came back to life. Song Jishu told me that during this period, Fu Hanqing's attitude towards her has improved a lot, but when things don't go well, he will still hit her. She sent me WeChat messages more than once saying, "I was wrong, I should have listened to your advice earlier. Fu Hanqing didn't care at all that I was carrying his child, and he even said that it was because of this child that you refused to forgive him. I heard him chatting with his friends. He wanted to get rid of the child and then come to you to make peace." I got goosebumps on my arms. A few days later, she begged me to speed up. My colleague told me that she was beaten by Fu Hanqing and was hospitalized, and she had threatened miscarriage. Song Jishu's father got the news from somewhere and made a scene in the company, even inviting reporters to make a show. If Fu Hanqing refused to pay to settle the matter, he would make a big fuss about it. The company has finally come back to life and cannot withstand the slightest turbulence. Fu Hanqing was forced into a desperate situation and had to spend some money to get rid of him. He then went to the hospital to vent his anger on Song Jishu. Song Jishu listened to me, recorded the video, and secretly sent the file to me. I opened it and read it. Fu Hanqing said, "I was fooled by you and abandoned Weiwei, otherwise I would have been very successful by now. She is the daughter of the Square president. If I marry her, Square will be mine sooner or later." Apart from Fu Hanqing's impotent rage, only Song Jishu was left crying. During this period, Fu Hanqing also beat people. He attacked Song Jishu's stomach with great ruthlessness and purpose. If she hadn't curled up her body and tried hard to protect her belly, I'm afraid she would have lost the baby. This process lasted for more than 10 minutes, until finally, the man seemed to have vented his anger and threw down the things in his hand angrily. Then he grinned, "But it doesn't matter, as long as I take Weiwei by force and she loses her innocence, she will only marry me. She loves me so much. She will definitely forgive me." Staring at his somewhat crazy and perverted smile in the video, I curled my lips. It's time. 3 days later, the company's first batch of sample goods will be delivered. But when Fu Hanqing went to pick up the goods with his partners, he found that the shelves were empty and even several machines were missing. Fu Hanqing has always been stingy. The workers' wages were half of what they received outside. Not only were their wages withheld, but some uneducated workers were also induced to owe indentures. I can't leave even if I want to. The wife and daughter of one of the workers were in a car accident and urgently needed money to save their lives. But Fu Hanqing didn't take it seriously and continued to withhold wages, which led to the death of his wife and daughter due to illness. The worker wanted to seek justice for his wife and daughter, but was beaten out by Fu Hanqing. They also intended to fire him for leaving his job for 7 days without asking for leave. On the day of his burial, I sent him an expensive urn and paid for a piece of land for his cemetery. Before leaving, the worker knelt down and kowtowed to me. The hatred in his eyes could not be concealed, and he repeated stubbornly, "I want revenge, revenge for my wife and Nyonyo. They could have survived, but they died in the hospital because they had no money to pay for medical treatment. Boss Bai, I know you have a grudge against him. Please help me. The disappearance of these samples is naturally my fault." The samples just disappeared like that, and Fu Hanqing was already on the verge of breach of contract. The partners looked extremely unhappy, and they all blamed him. "I was willing to cooperate with you because of Mr. Bai's reputation. But Mr. Fu, forget it. I'll give you one last chance. Submit the order in 5 days, and you'd better not let me down again, otherwise, we will terminate the contract." Fu Hanqing apologized profusely before sending the giant Buddha away. As a result, as soon as I arrived at the office and hadn't even sat down, the secretary ran in with a look of fear on his face. The company was sued. The worker took him to court, accusing him of withholding wages for his employees. With witnesses and evidence available, some kind-hearted people spoke up for him on the internet, and he was directly pushed to the top of the hot searches. Song Jishu also took the opportunity to release the recording and video, crying that Fu Hanqing was a scumbag who abused her despite her pregnancy. Netizens were immediately furious. The verbal and written criticism brought the matter to a new level. This time, The partner couldn't bear it anymore and directly asked to cancel the order. It was truly a disaster for him. The company's capital chain was cut off again. Fu Hanxing was busy and exhausted, but he couldn't solve the problem at all. He called me from a different number and begged me as soon as he opened his mouth. Weiwei, this company is our hard work. Can you bear to watch it go down in flames? Ask your father to lend me some money. The company can still be saved. For the sake of our friendship over the years, please help me. I promise not to make the same mistake again. I am your dog and I will be absolutely loyal to you. I was drinking tea in the office when he called me. The partner who broke the contract with him was sitting in front of me, pouring tea in a flattering manner. I curled my lips. If you want to borrow money, you can, I said, if you divorce Song Jishu. I will lend you some money. He had no other options, so he naturally agreed without hesitation. That afternoon, I received a MMS photo of 2 divorce certificates from him. He asked, "We are divorced. When will the money arrive?" At this moment, Song Jishu has already boarded a plane to go abroad. I took out my Alipay account and transferred $1 to him. Then he smiled and replied, "It has arrived." He was silent for a moment, then screamed like a kettle boiling. "Why is there only $1? By way, are you kidding me?" I said. "I'm not kidding you. I'm giving you 1 piece because this is the only price that garbage is worth." The company declared bankruptcy not long after. I stepped forward to acquire the company, and my hard work was back in my hands. With my connections in the circle and my father's help, the company was soon back up and running and was even better than before. There is no news about Fu Hanxing. Only cursing text messages were sent to my phone one by one, declaring that he was not dead yet. I gave the information directly to the debt collector. He owed a loan shark, and the interest was compounded, and now the amount was a staggering sum. At that time, I pushed the borrower's business card to Song Jishu. She lived up to everyone's expectations and persuaded Fu Hanxing to borrow high-interest loans to run the company. I deliberately arranged the company's order so that Fu Hanxing would think that he could pay back the money quickly and choose to borrow money. Even if the workers had not stolen the samples, the partners would still have withdrawn their investment in other ways. But he didn't expect that he would dig his own grave. Those debt collectors are really capable. Using the IP address of my text message, they found where Fu Hanxing is hiding now. He was beaten black and blue. 2 of his fingers were cut off, and 1 of his legs was broken. The next time I saw him was when I cut the ribbon for the company's name change. He was dressed in rags, his face was covered with dust, and he stood in the distance staring at this side. His eyes were gloomy and my hair stood on end. I decisively called the debt collector again. They just happened to be here and nearby. Amidst the cheers, I saw Fu Hanxing struggling and being dragged into a van, and he disappeared without a trace. Later, I heard from someone, he couldn't pay back the money and was thrown abroad by the loan sharks. No one knows whether he is alive or dead.